What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel, giving a shout out to the rest of the crew: Shad, Kelvin, Jermaine, KB Film Room, Big Dog Talk Sports. That's right, that's right. For everyone who's tuning in, thank you for supporting Behind the Bench. Subscribe to the channel, help make this show the best that it could be. And I just want to throw this out here real quick. It was something I've been thinking about, and something dawned on me that I have heard someone mention and highlight regarding the NBA. And this is a real quick video here. I've seen talking heads say, man, there's more excitement, anticipation about the NBA offseason and the trade deadline than there is the actual season. There's always talks about mainly not free agency per se, as much as it is about trades. And when I heard that, I said, man, the NBA is in a real questionable state. You know, when off-season activity is held in higher regard in terms of the discussion about the NBA than it is about the game itself. And that's why there has been, to a much lesser degree, the emphasis on the beginning of the regular season. Because if there's more focus on trades, in order for certain players to thrive and succeed, being put in a more favorable and advantageous position to win, well, that de-emphasizes to me the importance of tuning in and watching the beginning of the season, which necessitated the league to come up with this idea of presenting this quote unquote event called the in-season tournament that is staged within 2 to 3 weeks of the beginning of the season. And I asked myself, why is that the case? Why do we need such an event to stoke interest when the season just started? And I'm here to tell you, as an NBA fan who's been watching this league for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades, I was always excited about the beginning of the season. I had no problem, watching the whole season throughout, from beginning to end, all 82 games. In terms of, looking at the standings every day, seeing where teams stand at any point of the season. I had no issue with that. I didn't really hear players complain about the 82 game season. And it's because the focus has changed. It's more about what moves can be made to put said player in a position to win. It's not about the team, it's about the player. That wasn't the case in years and decades past. So what I would propose is, and it devalues competition. So what I would propose is, because there's teams out there that, specifically my squad, that have conducted so many trades over these past 7 years, it'll make your head spin. This season alone, this team has conducted 3 rounds of trades. Whereas you didn't see teams do that before, because the approach was different. Pretty much whatever team that you started with doing training camp is pretty much the same team that you supported throughout. And then you take it from there. Where there may be one key trade made prior to the trade deadline, but the system is being manipulated and abused in a lot of ways. Like, my team alone has conducted about 3 trades this year, when last year, after making all those moves, many prognosticators, talking heads said that the Lakers were going to win the championship, and they didn't advance past the first round. So what I'm saying is, also to protect the team from mortgaging their future off more than they already have, there should be a limit for every team in the NBA to conduct one major trade per year, whether it's during the offseason or leading up to the trade deadline. One major trade. Because the way I figure it is, you mean to tell me you sign a bevy of free agents, right? And then you make another round of trades. Well, shouldn't that put you in position to win? If you make all those moves, but it produces, in terms of the current environment that has permeated the NBA over the past 15 years, you would think, man, all these moves we made, we're good to go. But as I said, it's about quality over quantity. Meaning that you cannot undermine real team building, where a team is built over a period of time, rather than trying to throw something together in one large swoop in pursuit of winning. If that superstar is good enough, that have been given multiple and ample chances to prove who he is or what people want him to be, and you still fall short, then the problem is not the front office. The problem isn't all the moves and trades that are made. The problem is the superstar who all these moves are being made for. So I would propose, and this is what it's coming down to, teams have to protect themselves. You cannot continue to mortgage away talent of your own. You cannot continue to give up draft picks like it's candy, where you see a team in 2025 willing to give up a draft pick 6 years out, going into the next decade 1 year in, to pursue winning now. That's not competing. That's not real competition. That's really you manipulating the system. It's really on the verge, or I should say, in layman's terms, cheating. That's really what it is. When you say, well, we'll worry about the future when we get there, that's not a winning attitude. That's a loser's mentality. That's a loser's mentality. And that's what's bringing the league dynamic down. And I believe that's what is discouraging a lot of young stars from, really putting forth that extra effort, because they figure, well, all my efforts is going to be for nothing at the end of the day, because another guy continues to receive unfair advantages to compete. So the NBA, really at the end of the day, I believe that'd be a good rule at this point, although I know it's not going to happen. But it's just something that just, into my mind, I wanted to share with everyone. So I just want to drop that nugget real quick. Please leave your comments and thoughts. Should the league implement a rule that will limit every team in the league to just one major trade per season, instead of 3-4 trades where you see multiple players being, shipped in and shipped out on an annual basis? Again, please leave comments and thoughts. Until next time, this is JB for BTB Behind the